I'm Dan, and you're watching 631 Car Reviews. Today, I'm reviewing the 2006 Mini Cooper S. The 2006 Mini Cooper S has a supercharged 4-cylinder engine that produces 168 horsepower. Now, that may not seem like a lot of power, but in a car like this that's small, it feels like it's a lot more. The one thing about this car that I think I love the most out of everything is the noise. That supercharger just sounds amazing. That is just everything right there. Now, the handling and everything is amazing as well, but that supercharger one is just so, you could easily get 11 miles to the gallon in this car, because, well, I would just keep listening to that noise probably all day long. Back to the handling though. This is actually my girlfriend's car, and if I'm lucky enough, there'll be a video of her doing an autocross event in the spring, if I can convince her to bring it, so that would be pretty cool. This car is rated for a 0 to 60 time of about the mid to high 6s, but this car a car like this is more than just what's put down on paper. It's the way it feels, the way it sounds, the way that the second you turn the wheel, it immediately darts in any direction that you want it to go in. Cars like this, they just have that little bit extra that makes people love cars. You can tell that this car was made by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. It's just such a fun car to drive. This is an R53 Mini Cooper. The R53 is from 2002 to 2006. If you wanted a supercharged Mini, you could also get the convertible that ran a little bit longer than the regular hardtop. The second you get in this car, you notice that big speedometer and the big tachometer. It's just, I love this interior because you could tell that a lot of effort was put into it. I love interiors where you could tell that the people who made this car really cared. They weren't just throwing something together. They really took their time and crafted this interior. It's a really cool interior to be in. These seats are really comfy. I mean, it's a Mini. You're not going to have a ton of space in it, but you fold down those seats, you can fit a few suitcases in here. The ride in this car is a little bit rough, but I mean, I'll take that all day for the way that this car handles. I mean, around bumps, it is a little bit rough, but I mean, who really cares when you can take corners like this car does? I would not take softer suspension over handling a little bit worse. This car handles great. I'm going to list my top pros and cons of this car, just like I did for the last review. I'm not going to do 5. I'm going to limit it down to whatever I can really think of, since it's not my car. I don't really know every little thing about it. So I'm going to say that my top con is that these cup holders are almost comically bad. I mean, they were obviously an afterthought in this car. You can't really put any sort of tall cup in it or wide cup. If you put a skinny tall cup in here, it's going to hit the toggle switches. I mean, you really can't even fit a can of Arizona iced tea in these cup holders, because it's just going to hit the top, and it's wide. They're pretty much useless, the front cup holders. But you know, that's not really. I mean, it is annoying, but for everything else that this car is, I mean, it's just it doesn't really matter. My next con is that, I mean, this car is obviously meant to be a manual, but this particular one's an automatic, and the automatic is a little, it's a little shaky. It's sometimes when you don't want it to be, it's a little too overly responsive, and then sometimes on the other side, when you don't want it to be, it's a little too dead. That could just be this car, but you know, I feel like this car is meant to be a manual. But, you know, not everybody wants to drive manual every day. So, for this automatic, I feel like it's a little quirky. But, you know, overall, it's fine. You put it in sport mode. You can use the paddle shifters. Also, with these paddle shifters, it's a really funny design. You push them forward to downshift, and you pull them back to upshift, which doesn't seem that weird. However, usually you would do the right one to upshift and the left one to downshift. You can use either one to upshift or downshift. You push them forward and they downshift, and you pull them back and they upshift. I could pull the left one or the right one. It doesn't matter. They both have the thing where you push them forward or pull them back, and they both do the same thing. It's not like in most cars where one has one function and the other one has another function. And honestly, those are pretty much the only cons that I can think of with this car. My pros, I said this with my last video, and the noise is a really important thing to me in cars. And this thing, wow, that supercharger just sounds so good. It is just so good. I love noises, because you can put your foot on the gas, and if the car has no noise, I mean, it's cool if you're still going fast, but it just adds to like the theater of it all when you have a lot of noise and everything. It's great. My next pro about this car, which I already said, but the interior is just so it's so quirky. It's so you got the big speedometer, you got the big tachometer. These seats are great. They hold you in place really well if you're going around a corner. It's a great interior. My next pro is gonna be the handling in this car, which is like, I know a lot of people say it's go-karty, and it would be cliche of me to say it's go-karty, but it's go-karty. It's just you turn the wheel and it goes. It just there's no sign of just like, oh man, it handles all right. No, this thing handles really good. I'm telling you, if I'm lucky enough, there's going to be a video come the spring or maybe summer of this car at an autocross event on the channel. Next is the responsiveness of this thing. Since it's supercharged, not turbocharged, second you hit the gas, it just goes. There's no turbo lag. This thing is just really responsive. And even with this automatic, you put it in sport mode, you hit the gas, it goes. My next pro is the looks. I really like the way that this thing looks. I think it looks chiseled, it's not too bulky. The first gen of the new Minis is actually my favorite of them, because they get a little more bloated with each new installment of the new Mini. So I think that this one's the it's the smallest of them. And that's what a Mini Cooper is. It's mini, So this is my favorite gen. I love the outside and how it looks. My next pro is, like I said before, the Mini Cooper community is awesome. Not everybody waves, but a lot of people wave. You go to a car show with this thing, you're not gonna have people that you can't talk to. If it's a car show that has a bunch of different cars in it, there's gonna be a Mini there somewhere, and there's gonna be somebody to talk to. That noise is awesome. One thing I do have to say though is, if you're getting something like this, it's kind of a no-brainer, but the parts are going to be a little bit expensive since it's a BMW-owned car. I mean, the first gen, the R53 of the Cooper S, is pretty reliable, but if something does go, it will be a little expensive for parts. And if you bring it into a dealer, a Mini dealer, they are going to charge you a lot. And we actually tried to get strut mounts done on this car, so we called a BMW dealer, and they actually told us that they don't work on Minis. You have to go to a specific Mini dealer to get your Mini worked on. If you want to go to a dealer, you could always find a mechanic who will work on it. But I thought that was interesting, and that you guys might want to know that we called up a BMW dealer, and BMW says that they don't work on Minis. You have to go to a Mini dealer. Well guys, that was my review of the 2006 Mini Cooper S. If you liked it, please subscribe. If you thought, I missed something, I could have done anything better, feel free to message me and let me know. But otherwise, I'll just leave you with this nice exhaust. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.